Simon Husted is a self-described local news junkie obsessed with challenging strangers and friends to mix a strand of altruism in their everyday decision-making. Simon formerly worked as a daily newspaper reporter and studied urban planning and development in Cleveland, Ohio, before returning home to Buffalo in 2017. When he's not slowing down South Buffalo's motor vehicle traffic on his bike, Simon manages a small real estate company called Buffalo Bricks, LLC. The company owns and/or manages a growing portfolio of small multifamily and mixed-use buildings.
Hello everyone, my name is Simon and I am a self-described transitarian. Sometimes, on certain days, I'm also a vegetarian. A lot of people ask me, Simon, a lot of what we build is how we move around, and how do we make a better transit system here in Buffalo? Well, I'm here today to tell you we can start with a label, like transitarian. As a former newspaper reporter, I know a lot that you don't get you get what you want. You only get what you want if you shout it out in the world. I usually a lot of times, a little soundbite in a news story because I know if I keep quiet, I'm never going to get what I want. And that kind of ties down to why I'm involved with Buffalo Transit Riders United, a group that was started 3 years ago to scream at NFTA, to say riders are not satisfied with the service they have, and to scream at decision makers that you need to start valuing the opinions and the priorities of people who do not own cars. Just a little, slide number 4, we put a quick, our next meeting is October 25th. We're just going to have a movie night to talk about the relationship between transit riders and transit police. So often people ask me, Simon, why are you even involved? You own a car. Well, truth be told, I do own a car, but I probably consider more of a bicyclist because I do bike more often than not. But at the very least, I have more options than what a bus rider has. And a lot of times, I do not call myself a bus rider because I am not captive to that mode of transportation. And I hear a lot of my friends and a lot of my colleagues always say, I wish I could take the bus more. I wish I could take the bus more. And what I always have to stop myself in doing is shaming anyone for where they live, where they work, because there's always a logistical problem to why they use a car or whatnot. The great thing about being a transitarian is that you don't even need to take the bus to be one. You can literally just support everything that's within access of a bus ride. And that's one of the key things that I have dedicated, committed myself to, trying to focus only on things that are within reach. It's tough to kind of say what is within reach of a bus rider because not all routes are the same. There's about 14 bus routes that are core bus routes, and there are 10 that are secondary that do well with ridership and have frequency. And then the rest are kind of just there on the map and aren't really too reliable. So my area of what I consider to be accessible to bus riders is in the next slide. We'll get to that. And quite honestly, it's a bit, this is what it looks like without express routes and a weekday service. A lot of what you see in the outer rings would not be accessible on a weekend, but at the same time, we have to live within a practical means. And quite honestly, what's most important isn't necessarily even so much the commitment, but actually just telling people what you do and what you value, and that you follow something like a vegetarian does, a commitment to improve the lives of someone else, or improve animals, improve bus riders, and that's your value. In the month of September, I just kind of logged quickly where I spent my money. I spent a little more than $1,000, and the only thing that I spent that was outside of a bus route within my area was a quick little coffee shop owned by a mother and daughter called Pallet Cafe. I couldn't say no. I had to help, create jobs. But it's not even so much about, again, the commitment. What vegetarian really follows their convictions, Some of them must eat bacon at some point, right? So, it's all about explaining it to other people of why you do what you do. For instance, I never shop at Quaker Crossing even though I live in South Buffalo. It has the closest Target to me and I love Target. But Quaker Crossing is not served by a bus line. McKinley Mall is served by 2 bus lines. And unfortunately, Quaker Crossing, to its benefits, takes businesses from McKinley Mall, where then if you worked at Ulta, 5 years ago, you can't really get to Ulta if you didn't have a car because it's at Quaker Crossing now. So those are very impactful things that, I try to tell people, like, this is why I do what I do, and I'm not here to shame you on what you do, but see that, that this has a huge value in my life. This is a fun story that came out in July about a guide of free parking and everything. And it's one of those things where if we don't shout it out to the world that bus riders matter, people who don't own cars matter, these are the kind of things that people, the institutions, the businesses are going to think it's most important, provide free parking. Who cares about bus riders? I created a quick little SketchUps of swag that I think, honest to God, is stuff that just kind of is catchy. It throws people in a loop. It's like, yeah, that's right. We should support transit. We should be supporting transit, not Transit Road, but transit. And I think it's something that if you own a screen printing company that's within a transit bus ride, I'd be cool to help support and everything. I think we really need to start shouting it and start wearing it on our sleeves that, we really care about bus riders, we want to personally, if we don't take a bus, we want to take a bus someday soon in Western New York. Anyway, that's my contact information and more photos of me. So, thank you.